What is the weirdest thing you are, or saw someone addicted to? Roommate in college was addicted to hair. She collected hair and made hair people. She would use the community vacuum cleaner, take out the hair, wash it, make hair people. She would also go to salons asking for the cut hair for her family's garden, then proceed to make hair people. She had hundreds of them with names and stories about them. I kept my hairbrush locked up after it was cleaned out the first time. I used to know a girl who was addicted to eating those little polystyrene chips that are used for packaging. She always had a bag of them with her. The noise she made when she was munching on them used to set my teeth on edge. Eating markers, like the tube of it. Inside the casing. I told his mother and her reply was, "Oh, he's doing it again like." Again? Toxic ink? Again? I don't mean licking it. I mean chewing. Black ink and saliva and swallowing the ink-soaked sponge. I also seen someone brew some tea straight from the kettle on a stove bubbling, straight down their throat. Used to work with a girl who would just chug liters of strawberry milk. Every time I went to the toilet after her it stank of milk. She was eventually diagnosed with type 2 diabetes and gave up the milk, briefly. My best friend used to eat fabric softener in high school. She would keep bottles of it hidden around her room so she could have a taste whenever the mood struck her. I love her to death, but she's a strange one, lol. A woman who married into my family only eats macaroni and cheese. That's her diet. Not sure if this counts as an addiction. Not so much addicted, but I had a friend in college that would huff the fluid in his Zippo lighter when he was really drunk. Trevor wasn't allowed to have his lighter after a few beers. I used to be addicted to Candy Crush back in the day. After running out of 5 lives, I couldn't wait for them to be available, so I would forward my clock just to be able to play. My phone was set to year 2030-ish by the time I stopped playing. I visited Nairobi for work around 2000, and the street kids all walked around with a small bottle of glue stuck to their upper lip, so they were basically sniffing glue continually. It was extremely sad. I had a good friend in high school who had asthma who'd take hits off his inhaler all day long. We'd be talking and he'd just casually whip it out whenever and take a hit. Ended up going to bed a couple years after we graduated and never woke up. Have a friend addicted to the smell that comes out when you light up a match. People that take big doses of Benadryl over and over. One of if not the most horrifying trips you could have. Allison on intervention addicted to canned air. I'll never forget the episode of My Strange Addiction where the woman couldn't stop eating her husband's ashes, flushed face. I had a teacher who was addicted to nasal spray. Rocket League. I'm not even joking. Guy in his 20s, playing up to 8 hours a day. Used to be super social. Became a hermit pretty much for 7 years. Would pretend to be sick at work so he could play 3 days straight. Lost his whole social life. Spend New Year's every one of those years sitting in a dark room, windows covered, playing that game. Tried to get him to stop, but never worked. I used to live by a place called Crack Alley. So crack. When I was 14, I met someone my age who huffed the stuff from AC units. She got sent away because her dad got mad the house was always hot. I used to be addicted to chewing on ice, or maybe obsessed. I would bring a cup full of crushed ice with me everywhere. When I went to the beach, I would just bring a bag of ice from the gas station and sit and eat it. I stopped for ages, and then became temporarily obsessed again during one of my pregnancies. I was checked for vitamin deficiencies both times, but nothing came up. My neighbor would wear high heels to crush burnt fluorescent bulbs in his bathtub. It was horrible sounding. Wonder what happened to that guy? Coworker Diet Coke 16/day edit online search shows Diet Coke caffeine/aspartame can be a frequent indulgence that is hard to stop. Benefits of alertness. Chapstick. I knew a girl in high school who had pica. She would go to In-N-Out and order animal fries and then dump the fries on the ground and start devouring the cardboard fry container. She claimed it was the best tasting cardboard. I'll take her word for it. That woman on TLC who was addicted to drinking Clorox. Flew in Maine, Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada. Walking into town, black flies were like a blanket. We applied some DEET, offered it to a local walking with us. He declined because he said he'd just lick it off. Addicted to that and Lysol.